Welcome back to your Office On podcast. I'm your host, Martha, and we are getting into episode 4. Episode 4 is my favorite because it is a get to know me. So, a lot of my viewers and audience have sent in some questions, and I've also added some questions myself, and we're going to go through them. I have them in front of me, and I'm going to answer them as best as I can, and that way you can get a little sense of who I am and a little bit of my background. Let's get started. Okay, so question 1 says, if you could come back into this next life as an animal, what would it be? Well, my beautiful audience, it would be an elephant. I find elephants are beautiful and majestic and powerful. Then they never forget. There's one thing about me is I'll forgive you, but I'll never forget. And elephants have been around for a very long time, and they are so magical with their babies. So I like that part of them. Let's move on to the next question, okay? What's your idea of a perfect date? Wow. Um, it's been a while since I've been on a date, by the way. But if I was to say the perfect idea of a date, I'm an outdoorsy girl, so we would probably do more than one thing. I would love to go hiking and then have an afternoon lunch or picnic. That would be beautiful. Like outdoors, outside with the sun and good food and just me and that person. That would be a wonderful date. I like night dates, but I like day dates because you can be active, you can have more conversation, more physical interaction. It's great. Anyway, moving on. As a party, where can someone find you? Well, if I'm at a party, you can either find me on the dance floor because I am a fluent dancer and I love dancing, and or talking to someone or talking to a group of people. I love number one hosting parties and hosting gatherings, but if I'm going to your house, I am definitely talking it up with everybody in the house, okay? Cuz that's just who I am. As you can tell, I'm a podcaster, so I love talking. Now, talking in front of a camera and talking to other people is two different things, but I still like talking to people. So that's for that question. And oh, wow, this is an interesting question. When was the last time you cried? Well, I think that was a couple of weeks ago. I watched a rom com and it had a very sentimental part towards the end. And I actually cried. I actually cried because I felt the emotion of the actors and it was beautiful. It was a great scene. It was well done and I was proud of it. It was good. So I cried. So, yes, I do cry at rom coms. I do cry at movies that are sad. That's the empath in who I am. And I just love that part of me. I love that part of me because I can feel what you're feeling and you don't even realize it. Moving on. So, the next question is the weirdest thing you do when no one is around. Wow. The weirdest thing I do when no one's around. I would have to say that would be dancing like a maniac. I love twerking at home. I love dancing. I love salsa at home. And that's what you would find me doing at home if I'm definitely in a mood. If I'm not in a mood and no one's around, I'd probably just read a book. Sometimes I'm just quiet and I just want, peace and quiet and a good book on a couch. But normally I'm dancing. I'm dancing around with loud music. There's always loud music on in my house. I love it. All right, next question. If you had to wear one color for the rest of your life, what would it be? Damn. That's a good question because as you can see, I love black. I fucking love black. But if I was to choose one color for the rest of my life, it would be green. That's my favorite color, emerald green, and I could wear that all day long. But for some reason, people just don't make that color very often. When I go shopping and I look for clothes that are green, I hardly ever find a green, ever, ever. So that's my favorite color, and that's the color I would wear all day long, besides black. And I don't even think black is a color. I think it's a shade, to be honest with you. Yeah, exactly. Next question. So, what's your favorite smell? My favorite smell. Interesting. I would say it would be the smell of my mother's house when she's cooking. That is the most nostalgic, loving, full smell I've ever smelled in my life. When that woman cooks, she freaking cooks, okay? And as a Latina, that food is just delicious. So if you know what Puerto Ricans and Dominicans cook, you know exactly what I'm talking about and you know how good it is. So that's the smell that I would say that's my favorite. Now, if I was to talk about something else other than food, it would be star lilies. I have this thing for star lilies. I always said if love had a smell, it would be star lilies. Absolutely. Star lilies. If you don't know what a star lily is, look it up. Stargazer lilies is actually the appropriate word that you would call it. They're beautiful. They're big and they're pink and white, and they just have this aroma that lights up a room. Like it literally just blows up in the room, and it's just so beautiful. It is. It really is. Okay, next question. What's your most hidden niche or talent? Well, because you guys don't know, I actually picked up doing nails. Now, I'm a great life coach, but if I was to pick a hobby, like it says here, what's your, favorite niche or hobby? Um, it would be doing nails. I do nails. And I started doing nails right after COVID. I think a lot of people started a niche of doing things after COVID, to be honest with you, because we all did something, right? But I picked up nails and I do nails. And so I don't go to a salon anymore. I do my toes and my fingers, and they have to match. And if I'm doing French manicure, they have to be white on my toes. But this time around, I've got nude. So it's just nude because, we're still transitioning from winter to spring. So that's my little niche that I got going on. Next question. What's the one thing you've always wanted to learn how to do? Oh, interesting. I've always wanted to learn how to skydive. Um, it's something that I feel like it would work past a fear for me. And I just love the idea of being up in the sky and dropping down thousands of feet and then landing on your feet. Like the experience just seems so awesome. So if anybody out there wants to take me skydiving, I am your partner to go with you. All right. I'm your partner. Moving right along. What's your favorite scent? I like this one. So my favorite scent, I know this is going to be crazy and it's going to be weird, is fresh, dried, bleached white sheets. I know, I know. Who doesn't like freshly cleaned sheets right out the dryer, put on the bed, and then you just jump in them and you smell them and they're so cozy and so warm. Like when I wash the sheets, I want them bleached, I want them heavy on the detergent, and I want them nice and soft when they go on my bed. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, that's my favorite scent. For sure, for sure. So I see a lot of questions here, and I'm actually going to scroll up and just start from like question one. I actually went all the way down to the bottom and started from the bottom. Now we're all the way up. We're going all the way up. So I'm going to start with question one. And you guys have some good questions here. I see some really, really good questions. So the question you guys have is, where are you from? I was born in Brooklyn, and my family is from the Bronx and Manhattan. And I have been around the world, to say the least. I have been to Germany. I have been to Louisiana. I have been to New Jersey. And this is just childhood, okay? New Jersey, and then Louisiana, and then Texas. I've been in Texas for quite some time. I'm not going to tell you how many years I've been here, but long enough. Long enough to say I could probably be called a Texan at this point. But seriously. So, okay, second question. What's your favorite music? Guys, my favorite music is hip hop through and through. Like that is bleeding through my veins, hip hop. But if I was to pick anything else, it would be Afro beats, it would be Latin music, it would be jazz, it'd be reggaeton, it would be I can get into pop music. I can get into trap music too, but those are just definitely not like my first picks. But if I'm doing like workout stuff and I want ratchet shit, that's the shit I turn on. I have to say though, the new age stuff that is out here in these streets is a little much. Now, I have even gotten into Christian Afro beats music, also Christian rap. Like, guys, their game is picking up. You better get on it. Okay. Get on it. Like clean music at that. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Who is your favorite podcaster? That's interesting. I have a lot of podcasters that I listen to, but if I was to give you just one and just pick that one that I frequently listen to, it would be Dear Future Wifey is the podcast name, and I think the host's name is Lateris. Yeah, Lateris, and I love that podcast because I'm I'm innately like the girl who likes to know about dating and being the better person in a relationship and how can I do this and how can I do that. And I'm also in the process of becoming a wife. I'm not a wife yet, but I'm building myself to be a wife. Yes, at some point I want to be a wife. I have been a wife, but I don't think I was a good wife then because I wasn't mature enough to be a wife. And now that's not my goal. But when I look at relationships and stuff like that, I tend to steer how can I be a better wife for whoever it is in my life, right? So that podcast has given me all the inspiration, has given me great knowledge, and you can at him on the comments if you want. I'll at him myself if I feel like it. But yeah, so I watched that podcast, and then I think my next one would be Jay Shetty. I definitely listen to his podcast. Hardly Initiated. That's another one that I like. I think Hardly Initiated is up and coming. You know, they've done a great job, but it's kind of becoming commercial. Not talking about you guys. I'm just saying, like, I love your work. It's just, it's different. That's all. It's different. So, anyways, let me move on to these questions. All right. So, question 4 would be, what is your favorite season and why? That's an interesting question. My favorite season is summer. It's summer. But I also like spring. I like spring because everything is growing, everything is greener, everything is prettier. And it's like the rain looks pretty on the grass when it rains. Like April is like the best season in Texas. Like April to the beginning of May is like the best season. Like everything is growing, everything's turning green. And I think that's the reason why I like it because if you think about winter is everything's dead, right? Like everything is dormant, everything is brown. And then all of a sudden, these little green things come spurting out, and the world becomes alive. And it's no longer cold and chilly. It's nice and warm, a cool breeze. It just seems like everything is just vivacious, right? Like alive. I love it. Anyway, I can get into it. Now, summer is definitely my favorite season. Why? Because I love being in a bikini on a beach at a pool by some water with sun lotion on and a good book. That is me. I would love to be in that situation all day long. All day long. For those of you out there that know me, you know that I hate clothes. I look good in them, but I hate clothes. Like I could definitely do without. For real, definitely do without. But anyways, that's a different subject. We'll get into that one some later down the line, some other season, okay? Get to the next question. What's the best concert you've been to? Shit, I wish I could have gone to the Usher concert, but the best concert that I have ever been to. Recently, I went to Russ with my son. Russ is a hip hop artist, up and coming. Really not up and coming. He's actually out there by now. Um, Amazing work. The man does amazing work. He is just phenomenal, and he is his own producer, songwriter. Like he gets it in. Anyway, I took my son with me to this concert because I knew Russ before my son. And then when I introduced Russ to my son became interested in Russ. And so we became like this little unit that liked Russ. And then we just kind of said, hey, let's go to this concert. And that concert was great. That concert was great. Now, I do recall, and hear me out, when I was 14 or 15, I think I was 14, I went to an R. Kelly concert. Now, this concert was really explicit, but it was a good concert for a 14-year-old who had never been to a concert, right? Like, if you have never been to a concert, like that just looks good, right? Like, but looking back as a child or as an adult looking back, that probably wasn't the best concert for me, but it was still good at the time, okay? And that was like back in 1998, I believe it was. That tells you my age. Back off. Back off. All right, next question. Do you have a favorite type of exercise? Yes, I do. You'll find me in the gym, but if you find me doing anything more so often, it would be walking. I really enjoy walking. It is a stress reliever for me. It is like a bring me together kind of thing. Like it really does wonders for me. And I'm not a slow walker. I'm a fast walker. I'm a New Yorker on a mission. So when I'm walking, I'm let's go, let's go, let's go. It's really not, oh, da, 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 da. No, it's not. It's definitely walking. Walking. But I do enjoy exercise too. So walking is just one of the things that I would prefer. Now, you and I know that walking is really good for you, and that goes for everybody across the board. So get your ass out there and go walking. All right. All right. Let's see. What causes are you passionate about? I like this question, guys. I like this question a lot because this is something that'll tell you a lot about me. My causes that I'm passionate for are child welfare and homelessness. And as I've gotten older, I realized that my childhood wasn't the best. So it caused me to care about the welfare of children growing up. And I have also experienced homelessness, and it has also made me care for homelessness in our nation now. And those two have a big, big place in my heart. And I try to do as best as I can, as much as I can, to provide, to help, to volunteer, to initiate. Um, I try my best, right? And if you're like me, you're not a millionaire and you only have so much you can do for a homeless person or a child that's in need, but you do the best that you can. And guys, I do as much as I can for homelessness and child welfare. Those two really are big issues in this country, and we need to do better. We need to do better at it. But if you're just asking me what am I passionate about, those causes are what I'm passionate about. And if you guys know somebody that needs my assistance or would love me to volunteer for their charity or their organization, please reach out to me, DM. You can put it in the comments. I'll reach out to you, okay? Because I love putting my hand in it and I love being a part of it. All right. All right. Next question. What's an essential part of your routine? This is going to sound boring, but I'm going to tell you as a life coach, it has been a lifesaver. Okay. Lifesaver. I meditate and journal every morning. Now, it is a real serious routine for me. And like, if I do not do the meditation and journaling, I tend to see a different person, me, a different person during the day. But if I get in the morning and I can't journal, I'll journal in the afternoon because I owe myself that time, right? But meditating and journaling is definitely where I find my peace, my solace before I start my day. And then I can never start my day without my coffee. So those three things you will find me doing every morning before I start my day. Okay? Okay. Now, I want to put out there, guys, journaling is the best thing ever, ever. And if you're not a writer, learn how to write. I'm not saying you don't know how to write. I'm just saying learn how to write. Sit your ass down and write in your journal. Sit your ass down and write on a piece of paper. Write those nasty thoughts on a piece of paper. Get rid of them. And for you overthinkers, this is like the perfect antidote for you. Open a piece of paper, put down whatever it is that you got on your mind, on your heart, that's bothering you, that's giving you anxiety. And I promise you, you will feel just a little bit better. Okay? Just a little bit better. That's my life coaching for you. And we'll get into that in other podcast episodes later on. Let me finish the questions, all right? All right. Let's see. Who or what never fails to make you laugh? I like this question because I laughed when you guys sent me this question. Like, seriously, I laughed. I have a younger brother who is here in Texas, and whenever we get together, it is nonstop laughter. And I'm talking about we just go back and forth and we just banter, and it is nonstop laughter. Now, I love comedians, but my brother, he is the best laughter for me because I have some kind of attachment to him, right? He's my brother and I love him to death. And when we get to going, forget it. I'm sorry, future husband. you are always going to be second to my brother. No, I'm just kidding. But, my brother, he's my brother. Like, I love my brother. I love you, brother, if you're listening. Anyway, so that's who I would consider the person that never fails to make me laugh. Like he never fails. Like he top down. Like, yes. So, next question. What would your perfect meal look like? Ooh, gosh. And given the fact that I'm hungry right now, I'm going to try to do my best not to think of everything on the fucking menu at a restaurant, okay? So let me see. I am a true and true Latina, and I stand by Latin food. I really do. I do. I've had to limit it in my life because I have a lifestyle that I like to keep, and I like to be fit, and I like to keep a certain weight, and those foods are, high in frying foods and thick in butters and oils, and we just gotta limit our take, right? But going back to the question, if I was to choose a food and it would be the perfect meal, it would be mofongo. Mofongo and like some pork ribs, Spanish style, people, Spanish style. Now, if you've never had mofongo, it's the green banana, which in Spanish we call it plátano, and they mash it up and they put beautiful little foods and flavorings and everything in it, and it is just so good, so good. And if you really want to know what it tastes like, there are a couple of Cuban and Puerto Rican restaurants here in Texas. If you're in Texas, I don't know about your neighborhood wherever you are and listening to this, but in Texas there are some areas you can go and just Google it, and you should find it. Like, I really want you to try mofongo. Now, if you really want to get authentic about it, you take your little happy ass to Puerto Rico and you have some real mofongo. And if you really want to have some real mofongo, find you a family in Puerto Rico that'll cook that shit for you. Because I promise you, you're never coming back. You're never coming back. And if you come back, you will always go back. I promise. I promise. Okay. So that's my thing. If I want to have something that I really like a meal, like the perfect meal would be mofongo with a side. Mofongo, by the way, is a side dish. It could be a main dish if you put other things in it, but it's mainly a side dish. But that and some steak or some chicken or some pork. I don't really eat pork, but pork sometimes when it's made with love, Latin style, forget it. It's so delicious. I fuck with it. I fuck with it. Moving on. What's your favorite way to spend with your family? I have kids. I don't know if you guys know that, but now you do. I have 2 kids. They're adults now, and I love bringing them together at my house to eat because they know, and they'll tell you, that when mom cooks, she cooks with love and it's always delicious. And because I'm Latina, we eat. We eat. So I cook good for my kids. I cook a Latin meal every time they come to the house. And if they want something different, then we'll do something different. I think the last time we ate a dinner, we actually had hamburgers, but it's always a Latin dish when they come. And that is my favorite time with family. Like, I just love that because we talk and we eat and we're just sitting there and enjoying each other's time. And it's so special. It's just so special. As your kids get older, they tend to have their own lives. They're doing their own thing, so bringing them together all in one house is always a feel good for me. All right. Moving on to the next question. Do you believe in love at first sight? Guys, like, you really want to get to know me, don't you? I don't understand where these questions are coming from. All right. Yes, I have. I have fallen in love, and it was by first sight. And he actually turned out to be my soulmate. Yeah, how do we know who our soulmate is, right? I just knew. Like I told you guys about that gut thing is real. It really, truly is real. When I met him, it was an instant thing. It was an instant, like, oh my God, who's this guy? Like, where did he come from? And the chain of events, which there's going to be an episode that I will post. It's called The Love Story. Stay tuned. You'll hear all about this love story. So I don't want to get into it because we're answering all these questions. But yes, I have fallen in love in first sight. And we spent a really nice time in life together. We learned a lot about each other and we did a lot of beautiful things in life. And not everything is meant forever. So I know he's out there. I don't know if he'll ever pick up my podcast, but hey, hi. Mad respect for him. Like I feel like he deserves the best life ever. Um, yeah. Wow. Guys, that was a love at first sight. Have you fallen in love at first sight? Hit me up in the comments. Let me know because nowadays it feels like it's a dying thing, right? Like, where did love go? I mean, I'm full of love. I have love all over me, but where did love go? Where did the meaning and the desire of love go? That's a good question. We'll move on though, because I'm going to answer you guys' questions. All right. So, wow, this is a deep question. Let's go for it. What life lessons have you had to learn the hard way? That is a really good question. And it is an emotional question for me because I keep learning this lesson, and this lesson is never going to go away. The lesson is being a mother. It is the biggest lesson I've ever learned in my life. I've learned it the hard way. I've learned it the easy way. I've learned it, right? I'm still learning because my children are adults now and it's different. Everything is different. And being a mother is a huge lesson to learn because we were never given a handbook. We were just learning from what our parents did, which probably was some toxic shit anyway. No offense, parents, love you, but you guys, generations before us, fucked us up. Seriously. That's why we're all in therapy, okay? Um, I'm not laughing at the situation. You just got to know that that's fucking facts right now. Like, a lot of people are in therapy because of what their parents did to them. And I'm no better, right? My kids are partaking in therapy as well because of that, right? Motherhood is definitely a lesson that I learned the hard way, and I'm still learning it the hard way. There are some lessons you just don't learn the easy way. You can't. There's nothing about the lesson that's easy in motherhood. And fatherhood too. I can definitely proclaim that fatherhood is just as hard as motherhood, but in a different aspect, right? Because there's a lot of fathers that are really great fathers that don't get the chance to be a good father. We're not going to go there because I can get on that subject and I don't want to get on that subject just yet. We'll get on to it another time, okay? Maybe I'll have a guy panel and we'll talk about it then. That kind of actually sounds cool. I'll think about it, all right? I'm going to move on to the next question so we can get through these, okay? Let's see. Which of your personality traits are you most proud of? Wow, guys, this is really cute because that's the question that most people don't ask, right? So, I have some personality traits that I hate and now I really love them. So, I'm a very sensitive person. And when I was younger, I would say between, let's say, like teenager years to probably early 30s, I hated being sensitive. I was sensitive about everything. And I always wondered why I was given this trait of sensitivity, right? But then I realized later on in life when I started educating myself that I'm an empath and that my sensitivity is a superpower. I said it. If you're an empath or you have a huge amount of empathy in you, that's a superpower. You are able to feel someone else's emotions and understand their emotions while feeling them at the same time. Being an empath and being sensitive is a freaking blessing. It's a blessing. So that's my personality trait that I'm very, very proud of. I'm also proud of being humble. I've had a lot of experiences in my life that have humbled me, and I tend to stay in that humble layer because if you're here, if you're there, it's just not safe either way, but it's safe right here. And we don't always want to be safe, but we want to be safe as a respectable human being to other human beings. I feel like when you're humble, you just understand that you are here and you can be here, but you want to be right here, like right in the middle, because that's where true love sits, right? I can't judge you, and I don't want to be down here with you, but I'll be right here with you, right? I don't know if that made sense, but it made sense in my head. So those two are my personality traits that I love the most, being humble and my sensitivity. I never really embraced them until my later 30s, and I'm sure a lot of people have felt the same way. They always question why was I blessed with this or cursed with this. You're not cursed with anything. God did not make a mistake when he made you, okay? So if you're questioning your personality traits, ask God, why did you give me these? Because he'll tell you. He'll absolutely tell you why he gave them to you in his own way, right? He's not going to come and have a conversation with you and tell you exactly why he chose to put these inside of you, but you, you at some point in your life will get the answer, okay? You'll get the answer. I'm going to move on because this one's getting a little deep too. Chill out with the questions, guys. All right. Oh, this one's a good one. Do you live by any piece of advice or motto? I do. And given that we just talked about God, I live by this: be still and know that I am God. It brings me back here. So when I'm out here and I'm like this and I'm like, oh my gosh, why is everything so crazy? I go, just be still. Be still and know that I'm God. It even gave me goosebumps because I stand by that. And it's not even my motto. It's written in the Bible, right? But it's my motto. It's when I wake up and I think about how crazy my life is going and how things are just wilding out. Be still. Be still. It's like when people go, woosah, woosah. That's my woosah. Be still. So that's my motto. That's my advice. Just be still. When your life is crazy, just be still. Because the more you act out and be chaotic with your life being chaotic, those are the results you're going to get. Chaos. Chaos. Be still. Because the answers are inside of you. And if you're quiet and still, you can hear the answers that you need to get where you need to go and handle what you need to handle. That's my little life coach for you. All right. So next question, because that was good. Thank you guys. I appreciate it because we have to know people. And if you don't ask questions like that, you're never really going to know people. You're just going to surface level know people, right? You're going to be like, hey, how are you doing? Oh, I'm great. Good. Okay, cool. Did you really get to know me? No. So I'm glad you're asking these questions. These questions are legit. They truly, truly are legit. Let's go to this one. This one is, what is the scariest thing you've ever done and why did you do it? Ooh, let me think about that. What have I done that was scary and why did I do it? I don't know, guys. I don't think I've really done anything too crazy or scary. I would love to bungee jump. So, hit me up if you want to go bungee jumping. I've never been. So that's definitely a scary thing that I want to do. A scary thing that I did. Why did I do it? Okay. Okay. Hold on. I went on a solo trip for the first time in my life. And that was scary to me. Some of you out there will go, I go on solo trips all the time. Well, I don't. And I didn't. And I did this time. And as much as I was scared to go, because, what do you do by yourself, right? Like, I'm okay with sitting with myself at home, but like going to an actual location and being by yourself and figuring out what the hell you want to do by yourself, a little scary. And I did it because I wanted to prove to myself that I could go on a trip by myself and be happy. And I'll tell you what, it was the best fucking trip I have ever did. And it was actually for my 43rd birthday in Florida. And it wasn't even across the country. I was going to go to Aruba, but I had to stay close. So I went to Florida and I stayed at a resort and I had the best 5 days, I think it was, maybe 5 days of my life by myself. I got up when I wanted to. I went to bed when I wanted to. I ate what I wanted. I did what I wanted. And I didn't plan anything. I just said, you know what, today I'm going to go to the beach. You know what, today I'm going to go for a walk on Miami Boulevard. You know what, today I'm going to go have a beautiful dinner by myself down by the pool in this damn humidity. Lord, it was hot. Okay, hot. But yeah, that was the scariest thing that I've done recently, right? I can't really go back. I'd have to dig into the Pandora's box to find one. But recently, that was almost a year ago? Yeah. And guys, if you've never done a solo trip, man, I'm telling you right now, you got to do it. Okay. You've got to do it. Like solo trips are amazing. Wow. Mind blowing. Anyway, let me go on to the next one. Okay. Um, I like this one. I like this one. All right, guys. It says, what's the worst date that you have ever been on? Okay. I'm in my 40s and I've only actually been on two bad dates in my life. Two bad dates. And that says a lot, right? Because I know how to pick them. But two bad dates. And these dates were the worst dates ever. I don't know, guys. I've been blessed, but these two experiences were like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And I'm not going to get into details, but yeah, so let me just get into a small detail. The first one that ever happened was a gentleman who took me to the Reunion Tower in Dallas. And I don't know what he did, but I'm sure prior to that day, he had everybody recognize my name. So when I showed up, everybody was like, oh, hi, Miss Lewis. Oh, hi. How are you? All the way up to the tower and to dinner, right? The revolving restaurant. I don't even know if it's still open, but maybe it is. So we go and we sit down and we're having dinner and we're talking and this, he's being a gentleman. But then all of a sudden, it almost like he went Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on me. And I don't know, he sat across from me and made it seem like I was broken and I was unhealed. And I don't know where he got this from, but I was just looking at him and I said, I don't understand what's going on here, but this has really gone bad. And I'm not going to get into the rest of the details, but it went bad after that conversation. And we left pretty fast and I never talked to him again. And I went home going, what the hell just happened? What the hell just happened? Like, what? Oh, and the second one was just as bad. Just as bad. Gentlemen, let me tell you this. And I'm going to give you some sound advice, okay? As a life coach to somebody who's going to listen, do not go on a date if you are unhealed and broken. You have no business giving yourself to another person if you don't have yourself to give, okay? So if you can't sit at the other side of the table without thinking about how broken you are or analyzing the person across from you of how bad they're going to be and what they're going to do to you and how they're going to hurt you, you should not be at that table with that person. Absolutely not. Take it from me. It's probably the worst thing you will ever do to somebody else, and it's not fair to the other person. And that other person could be intentional, okay? But once they find out that you are broken, evidently they're not going to be intentional anymore. But you got to know, and if you just got out of a relationship, don't take your ass on a date. Don't do that. It's not fair to the women or the men who are trying to make intentional interactions with somebody, and you're broken and you try to cover it up with some, oh, I'm happy, I'm this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Sit your ass at home. Sit your ass at home and heal. Okay. Sorry. I went down the rabbit hole. I had to, because these dates, the second date, I sat at the table and I rolled my eyes. I had never rolled my eyes at a date in my entire life. My entire life, I rolled my eyes. And I told the person, I said to him, I said, I have never rolled my eyes at any date I've ever been at. And you're the first person I've ever rolled my eyes at. And of course, the conversation just went downhill from there. But I'm not going to stick it across the table and not tell you how I feel. I mean, you're going to know how I feel. Anyway, thanks for that question, because that reminds me to always be on my standards and have them up here, not down here. I'm going to go to the next question. This one correlates with this. What's your love languages? My love languages are words of affirmation and quality time. I feel loved when someone spends time with me, undivided attention time. And I feel loved when people give me words of affirmation. You're doing a great job, Martha. Wow, you look great. I appreciate you, things like that. So those are my love languages. And by the way, if you guys want to figure out your love languages, Gary Chapman has a quiz online. You can go online and check it out, do your quiz and figure out what your love languages are if you don't know them already. If you hypothetically think you know, but you really want to know, go take the quiz. All right. Next question. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? I will have to say mi isla, Puerto Rico, because my heart is with Puerto Rico. The first time I ever stepped on the island, I fell completely in love. I fell so much in love that the coqui, the actual frog that's on the island that has overpopulated the island, I heard it for the first time close enough and it made me cry. That's how much I love Puerto Rico. And if you've never been, I want to tell you, you should go. Take a long vacation. It takes, I think, about 7 hours to go around the entire island. Of course, you know that I'm Puerto Rican, so I love my island. I love my people. And just explore it. Hit all the spots. Don't stay in one spot. There's so many beautiful places in Puerto Rico that you can go that you will have a wonderful time. And if you like surfing, go to the west side. The beaches are the best and the waves are killer. Okay? So that's where I would go. I mean, I know there's a lot of places in the world that I would visit, but if I was to live anywhere and be happy, my friend used to tell me, fat and happy, where would you go? Fat and happy, I would be in Puerto Rico. That's where you'll find me. All right. I appreciate that question because Puerto Rico it's mi corazón for sure. Okay. So the next question we have is, what dream did you have as a kid? I dreamed a lot of dreams, guys. I always wanted to help people. And when I actually found my niche in helping people, it blew up. And that's what I dreamed of doing when I was a child, was just helping people. And of course, this is also on the backhand of having a traumatic upbringing. So I feel like when people have traumatic upbringings, they always try to do something that helps the next person because they went through it already. Yeah, I fucking went through it. So I learned that that's what I really was passionate about and what I wanted to do. And so as I got older, I learned that I wanted to help people. I even took psychology. Like, I wanted to learn the human language. It's just impressive. Spend some time with yourself. You'll know how impressive it is. I'm gonna go to the next question. Do you sing in the shower? Guys, do I sing in the shower? Hell yeah, I sing in the shower. Who doesn't sing in the shower? And I actually sound better in the shower. But that goes for everybody, right? I sound better in the shower. I sound good outside the shower too, now that I think about it. I can hit some notes. If you out there know me, you know that you've heard me sing before, and I can hit some notes. I can genuinely hit some notes. But yes, I'm a loud singer in the shower. And I dance too. Get my groove on in the shower. You damn right I do. All right, I'm gonna move right along. I think I answered these already. Okay, guys, that's it. I love you, and this was really nice. I enjoyed your questions, and I did add some of mine in there. So, you didn't know which ones I added, but I added them, and this was fun. And I hope that you got to know me a little bit. I hope that brought us a little closer, and I look forward to seeing you later on down the line in the other episodes that I'll be doing. And thank you for watching. This is your Office On podcast, and I'm your host, Martha.